There are numerous fancy automotive manufacturers on the market that just about everybody desires. Mercedes-Benz, Lexus, Cadillac, Audi, Volvo, Lamborghini, and lots of extra. However, maybe one automobile that will get a number of deserved consideration is the Ferrari. However, who owns Ferrari? The Ferrari means a sort of Italian luxurious sports activities automotive made by the corporate of the identical title. Since its inception, the Ferrari has long been a staple of luxurious automotive manufacturers. Many see the Ferrari as a standing image representing wealth, luxury, and naturally, velocity. Ferrari has an extended historical past as nicely. Let's check out the famed Italian automotive producer to see how they obtained the place there and who owns them now. The starting of Ferrari. Enzo Ferrari, an Italian man curious about racing vehicles, created Ferrari. Initially, he had no real interest in making simply regular vehicles when he created Scuderia Ferrari Manor again in 1929. Nevertheless, Ferrari's enterprise disbanded when Alfa Romeo employed him as a racing supervisor. He would later go away initially of World Conflict II and created a brand new manufacturing unit, ready to he might use the title Ferrari once more. He made machine instruments and plane parts for fascist Italy. But, the next year in 1940, he constructed the primary Ferrari. The car was referred to as the Tip-Off's 815, however obtained little recognition because of the battle. In 1943, Ferrari moved his manufacturing unit to Maranello, the place it's nonetheless there to this present day. Nevertheless, the Allies bombed the manufacturing unit. Nevertheless, it was later repaired and Enzo Ferrari determined to begin making vehicles along with his title on them in 1947. The actual first Ferrari with the title on it was inbuilt 1947 and was referred to as the 125S. Later years, Ferrari would proceed to construct racing vehicles and was nonetheless part of the racing scene in the aftermath of World Conflict II. In early 1969, Fiat put in a 50% stake in the automotive producer and gave Ferrari much-needed sources resembling funds to knock out extra vehicles. 1988 was the ultimate year that Enzo Ferrari would debut the most recent automotive mannequin. It was the Ferrari F40 and Enzo would later go away in August of that year on the age of 90. A year later, they renamed themselves Ferrari SPA. Years later in the early 200s, Ferrari created the Enzo, the quickest mannequin on the time. Whereas it was to be referred to as the F60 because it was subsequent in line, they named it after Enzo Ferrari. Solely 400 had been made and the final one was donated to Vatican Metropolis as charity. Current day. In 2012, 964 Ferraris, priced over $160 million, set a world report by gathering and parading around for the Ferrari Driving Days occasion at Silverstone Circuit in England. Simply days earlier than Halloween 2014, Fiat and Chrysler created the FCA Group. Their plan was to make Ferrari unbiased. A year later, Ferrari acknowledged that its preliminary public providing was at $52 a share. That year, Ferrari was named the world's strongest model by Model Finance. By 2021, Ferrari is the 10th largest automotive producer on this planet. With an internet of over $52 billion, they ship simply over 11,000 vehicles. Who owns Ferrari? So, who owns Ferrari? After 23 years of serving as president, in 2014, Luca di Montezemolo resigned. Amedeo Felisa then changed him. Nevertheless, Felisa resigned as nicely simply a few years later in 2016. The subsequent CEO would then be the CEO and chairman of Fiat Chrysler Vehicles, Sergio Marchionne. Actually, Fiat is the guardian firm of Ferrari. Then, after other 2 years, and in 2018, Louis Camilleri and John Elkann changed him as CEO and chairman respectively. Each resigned 2 years later. The most recent CEO is Benedetto Vigna from ST Microelectronics. He began in September 2022. Conclusion. Ferrari is a well-known sports activities automotive model that has lasted all through the ages. Often called a logo for the rich, people additionally know the sports activities automotive as a velocity demon, barreling down racing circuits throughout Europe and the world. Whereas withstanding many modifications within the current day concerning its management, and now that you already know who owns Ferrari, most individuals nonetheless know the model by its authentic founder, Enzo Ferrari, who formed the world of luxurious vehicles and racing ceaselessly. Actually, Enzo Ferrari himself is getting a biopic appropriately named Ferrari. Having gone by means of growth hell since 2000, a number of had been set to star because of the famed Italian. This consists of Christian Bale, identified for his work resembling Batman within the Darkish Knight trilogy, and in lots of different movies resembling American Psycho and in Ford v Ferrari. Bale would drop and Wolverine himself Hugh Jackman was to fill the function. Now, it was by the acclaimed actor Adam Driver, who has performed in lots of movies lately, such because the Star Wars sequels.